She said someone insinuated for her to cash out. Kizungu na. Who taught you all this English?
Well,
Listen again.
okay, maybe it could. Do I have to use? Do I use the mic?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would say because it started out with her, but then again it started out with my parents. Because back when I was a young kid, I think I was in nursery. I was taken to this school where everyone just has to speak in English. So, please do not stereotype. I am partly Luo, so maybe that's a bit of it. But please don't stereotype. Yeah.
Okay. Your English is perfect, no doubt about it.
Thank
now,
you.
Can you remember the first poem you did, and what was it about?
Wow. The first poem I did.
TBT.
Hey. This is way back. Fight for what was it called? Fight for life. Flight. It's funny. I've done so many pieces, but that was among the first pieces. And so I shall fight, run with my fingers and show you how glued I can get stuck and survive and manage. That was done in campus. Yeah, that was done in campus. There's another one I did when I was in Form 3, but I really cannot remember. I really cannot remember the name. But I do remember I was forced to write it because there was no other piece that needed to be done for a music festival.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to perform. Yeah, so that's how I ended up doing the first piece. Yeah.
Okay. So that was in campus. Now let's talk about, because it sounds like it started from Miss Otieno to campus you've been trying to pick up. Let's talk about consistency. How did you perfect this art skill of yours to be this?
It's funny. I think I should probably start with Mrs. Otieno and move forward. Because through Mrs. Otieno, I got a chance to go to provincials. I remember I was the first person who was selected from primary to be able to attend a music festival somewhere. And that was huge for me. I was in class 3, Nakuru. And after that, I started enjoying it. I realized I can actually become better as opposed to just doing this sort of rebellion and everything. So after I went to high school, I kept on doing my thing. And that's where my first piece came in. And then I came to campus. Still, I had that dream of being Mariah Carey, so I used to sing. So I remember meeting up a guy called Ordinary Mind. His mind is not ordinary, but he's good. So he tells me, if you love doing poetry pieces, why not try writing more of those and doing events? So I figured, why not try it out? I have nothing to lose. So I attend the One Night Stand poetry event as one of the pioneers with the assistance of Enigma. I used to sing though. I used to believe I'm really better at singing at that time. I don't know whatever happened later, because I kind of stopped singing. Or rather, I sing a little, but I find myself more vibrant when it comes to poetry pieces. And then I cleared campus and I came to Nairobi. I was in the University of Eldoret. So I come to Nairobi and there's culture shock. Forgive me, my people, my good people. I love your Sheng pieces. Forgive me. But I was terrible at them. So I was wondering, where will I ever get a platform that I can actually just showcase what I do? Then there's this lady called Joan Kwamboka. I remember she saw me first on Hisia Zangu Poetry, and she figures, you are amazing, and that's where I drew my strength from. I asked her, where can I get a stage to perform? And she links me up with Rick's Poet for Fatuma's Voice at Power. That became my second home.
Yeah.
And then I meet amazing artists, culture. I learn how to do different things. I actually did my first Sheng piece though, but I never performed. I just wrote it and gave it to someone. Never been really confident about that. And then after that, I got chances to now do corporate events where you get the This is Africa Lounge. And slowly by slowly, I realized there's the need for branding and there's need for growth. And that's how I just figured I am doing this wholly. And then there was the part where you have to fight with your job. You're thinking, it's funny how every time I would have these jobs that take like 12 hours of your time, and still I would wake up early and just do a piece. That's the only thing that was inspiring for me. I remember I was at Uchumi, and guys would wonder what's up with me, because when I'm walking towards the matatu at 6:30, I'm heading to Uchumi, I write a piece. I get to Uchumi. I am serving customers. I'm rehearsing a piece.
Uh-huh.
And
At
I'm
work now?
singing at work.
Mm-hmm.
There are times they're actually showing the programs and all. Sometimes I'll actually just gaze at those guys and wonder how do they get there.
Uh-huh.
And it went on like that, and my supervisors realized I really love doing this, and they gave me the go-aheads and gave me chances when there were. Then later on, I decided to go solo.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work at Family Bank first, and then my manager, Leon Kiptun, turns out he loves poetry. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm in the right place. Plus, I have now more time.
Uh-huh.
Other than doing it at work, I can actually do it on Saturdays and Sundays. And now here comes the struggle. I lost my job at Family Bank, and now I'm wondering what next. And I'm thinking, do I really want to apply again? I have lost jobs. And I'm thinking, no.
Mm-hmm.
You know where you've been struggling and fighting? Should I do poetry? Will it pay me, or should I keep looking for work?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that one time I just woke up and said no. But that was after my mom passed. And I figured,
Sorry about that.
it's okay. It's fine. That's where you realize this life, you only live it once. And the best thing you can do for yourself is be happy when you're living it.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when we buried her, I just told myself, what do I love doing? I love performing. I love doing poetry. Are you ready for a job right now? You're not. So what's the way forward?
Mm-hmm.
And then there are friends of mine who reminded me there's writing, online writing and everything. So that's how I started out. I figured online writing will help me. No other events,
Yeah.
no other people, connect and grow. And so for 8 months, for the first time, I could actually tell people, what do you do? I'm an artist. And they're wondering, okay, so you sing? No, I'm a spoken word artist. You know, yeah, I wanted to be like Mariah, but right now,
Uh-huh.
I want to be like genetics and better. So, yeah, I think that's why I really took it to the next level. That was practically last year.
Mm-hmm.
And prayers, I kept on praying over and over again.
Yeah, God first.
Every year I wake and I'm thinking, what do I want this year?
Mm-hmm.
So like last year I just told God that I would love shows. Please help me. I do not know people, just show me the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I got
Okay,
interesting
shoes now. Before we diverse to the shoes sector, you mentioned something about your mom and how she inspired you now.
Yeah.
It also brings out something I wanted to understand. I think are your poets more concerned of society yourself?
My pieces or the poets?
Yeah, your pieces.
Society.
Society.
Because I have this mantra, to live life is to love love. And there's just no way you can give enough of yourself without giving back to the society.
Mm-hmm.
So my sharing experiences, because my pieces help me share my own experiences. I am not really good at having a chit chat. I have these issues and stuff. I write them down when it's really heavy. And I usually feel there are people who are also going through the same thing. What's the best way you can help these people?
Uh-huh. So it's based of realization, reality.
Yes.
Not idealization.
It's more of reality and more of research.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more of experiences and exposure.
Uh-huh.
And anything that just I feel I need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who probably do not have the voice to discuss it.
So you're the voice, and
yes,
that's what you communicate in your pieces.
Yes.
Okay, now let's just break a little bit from your story and now tell me about how you identify the opportunities that, like, I know you're a co-founder at Anika, and I've seen you perform, like, courtesy of the Fashion Week. How do you identify the opportunities and do your pieces, and how do they help you at the end of the day?
One, how do I identify the opportunities?
Yeah.
I will tell you, it's prayers. That's like the first thing. There are things I cannot even explain. And then there's the bit where you are on the internet and you look for platforms, because you cannot miss out. And I always think of beyond. How do I reach out to people beyond? So that really needs research. You have to analyze which are the best events, where are the platforms, where can you plug in, and people. when you meet people, you connect, you ask. Like Rix is one of the founders of Fatuma's Voice. So if I really need a chance, I can always ask him, which other space have you had that there are opportunities?
Yeah.
And then there's the part where my family comes in. Man, yeah, I give thanks. Although after being slapped and all.
Everyone has been slapped here, you know.
Yeah.
But
so there's this, there are relatives who also give you a chance to perform. The Nairobi Fashion Week was also courtesy of family. And I am able to do themic pieces. So I'm spontaneous. I am just willing to go ahead and do what makes sense.
Yeah, pushing it to the limit.
Pushing it to the limit. If you told me do a piece about, say what?
You're catching me unawares, eh?
Yeah.
Let's talk about you'll share more light about I'll Die, but what inspired you to come up with such?
Well, why I was even asking you about that first was ideally you come up with a topic and my mind is triggered and I'm thinking I need to challenge myself enough to do this piece. So how if I die tomorrow, the one that you've just asked about, it's experience and themed, because like I said, for instance, I was asked how I got to the piece was through human trafficking. There's this organization called Heart, and they wanted a human trafficking piece. And I'm thinking, how do you tap into such heavy situations? Then I pictured me being dead and speaking through the voice of a dead, not necessarily dead, but your spirit is not there, considering human trafficking, you're raped, there's so many things that are done to you. You lose contact with family. You're just messy. And sometimes you do not have the inspiration or someone to just tell you can get out of it. So that's how I immerse myself into people's shoes. And also try to link it with my own. Because if I die tomorrow was also partly after mom died. And I thought, you know what? Forgive me, many people said I was probably mad. But during that process, I remember where people were wondering, which coffin color do we buy her? Should it be brown or black? And I'm thinking, you know what? If I die, I think I need to jot down a list of things so that you do not need to worry about, what to or where to. So, yeah, I also link them up with my own experiences. Yeah,
okay, speaking of experiences now, it's a common thing to have a weakness. You know, what are your weaknesses and what are you doing to strengthen them?
Weaknesses, forgetfulness. It's funny. I forget a lot. So how am I strengthening this? Writing things down over and over again, just not to forget, or just recording. For instance, my pieces. That explains why I could not even tell you my first piece. I'd have to go back and remember where I wrote it down, because forgetfulness is a big issue. Yeah.
What are you doing about
what
it to
am I
strengthen
doing?
it?
Writing them. So that when you ask me, I have somewhere to refer to and show you that, yeah, this is the first piece.
That's why she got a slap, you know. That's the reason why she was getting slaps. Forgettiveness.
Yeah. I think that's like the bigger chunk of it. And which other weakness do I have? We all fall short of God's glory. Yeah, that will be.
As we wind up now, I'm going to give you at least less than a minute to talk about your co-founder at Anika254.
Yes.
What is it about?
Well, Anika254 is an art-based initiative which aims at basically discussing societal issues and being the voice for the people who cannot be their own voices. So how Anika came about, the founder is called Gladys Mwende. And she's really passionate about discussing those things that are really very uncomfortable to talk about, say rape, say human trafficking, say gender-based violence. These are things people rarely talk about. And the only forum so far that I have seen that people used to let these things out were Fatuma's Voice. But lately, that gap is missing. So we felt, one, aside from just having one forum, two, we can always have more of these forums, because right now people are finding it difficult to talk to people. And the only way for us to grow is to communicate. For instance, things that have happened in politics right now, people want an outlet, but they do not know where to go to. So it's basically a safe space. And about that, there's an event coming up on the 21st. This 21st. So that's next week Saturday. And it's dubbed, can you guess?
I can guess. You're killing my time, you know. Depression.
Yeah.
So now, as we wind up, I would like you to tell your fans at home where they can find you and your social media platforms.
Okay.
Real quick.
Okay. Find me on Facebook as Rachel Stephanie. My Facebook page, Spontaneous Treehouse. Instagram, Spontaneous Treehouse. Twitter, Spontaneous Ray. Yes. Oh yeah, and on YouTube, Spontaneous the Poet. I actually had a recent video. It's called I'll Heal. Kindly check it out. Courtesy of Jabali Africa. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Spontaneous, for making time to be with us today.
Thank you so much.
And I'll give you a chance after I read a few SMSs here for you to perform your best poet. Okay, you just think about it and you'll perform it. Now, guys at home, allow me to read some of your SMS here. One says, Ni John Nico Eldoret.